Mewgenics is a tactical roguelike RPG where you build a cat party and fight on a grid. There's no native macOS version, which means leaning on workarounds. For context, I'm basing this on an M3 Max MacBook Pro with 36GB of RAM and the most consistent community reports. I'll start with the simplest way to just play, then cover the best local setup and when it's worth the effort. But before you choose which one you want, you'll have to buy the game. To help you, we'll leave links in the description to where you can purchase it, and we'll also add links to discounts when such are available. Now here are the two methods that gave us best results. The first one is called Boosteroid, and it's the cheapest cloud gaming service that's actually any good. This is the most plug-and-play solution that we found. The main draw of Boosteroid and cloud gaming in general is that your machine doesn't matter as long as you can supply it with around 40 megabits of stable internet. And if you've got a faster connection, you can crank up everything to max even in 4K, and you should be more than fine. You log in, launch it from the Boosteroid library, and you're basically sidestepping the whole "will it boot on my Mac today" lottery. This game is also a great cloud fit because fights are turn-based, so a little latency doesn't ruin your run the way it would in a Twitch shooter. The one real catch is your connection. If your internet gets shaky, you'll see compression blur or stutters even though the game itself keeps running fine. Still, I consider Boosteroid the best option for anyone who wants a reliable experience with zero tinkering. All you have to do to start gaming is follow the link in the description, register for the service, and buy a subscription. Then just search for the game and click play. It's all pretty easy, but we have a how-to tutorial if you need it, and an overview of the service if you want something more in-depth to make up your mind. Crossover is hands down the best non-cloud method to play Windows games on Mac in 2026. It will give you the ability to play anywhere you want without internet limitations, and scales better with newer Macs. But you're not going to get anywhere near the graphical fidelity or performance you'll have with cloud solutions. Crossover is the local route, but Mewgenics is a little temperamental here. Based on reports, some Macs launch fine while others hit an OpenGL, could not create GL context error, and never reach the menu. On our M3 Max MacBook Pro with 36GB, the game eventually ran okay, and since it has very low requirements, FPS wasn't a problem. So even if you are on something weaker, like a base M1 chip, you should be just fine. However, we did need to apply a couple of fixes that we'll talk about in a bit. So overall, Crossover can be a decent option, but only if you are willing to dedicate a bit more time to set it up. Also, with this method, you can use mods for single-player games, and there's a 14-day free trial. To use Crossover, click the link in the description, enter your email, and download the app. Then, after you install Crossover, you must click the Try Now option for the 14-day trial. If you need a longer tutorial, visit our video on that. Just note that the experience with Crossover can sometimes vary between updates, so don't be surprised if it suddenly starts to break the game. If this happens, check our site for the detailed instructions, or you'll have to research this on your own. If you notice the game won't start and you get the "could not create GL context" message, try a fresh new Steam bottle in Crossover and leave the bottle graphics setting on auto. That usually gets you onto the code path that works on more Macs. If you notice the audio is sped up, distorted, or crackly, open wine configuration for your Steam bottle, add Mewgenics as an app entry, and set its Windows version to Windows XP. That usually settles the sound back into something normal. If you notice the first launch looks zoomed in or the window acts strange, Command Tab out and back in, then toggle full screen off and on in the game video settings. That usually snaps the display into place. When Mewgenics gets busiest during big fights with many enemies and on-screen effects, performance smoothness can dip if you are playing it through Crossover on something weaker, like a base M1 chip. In such cases, I recommend trimming the heavy stuff first. Set render scale to 90%, MSAA to 2 times, and switch vignette flicker off. This should typically be enough to bring performance back to normal, but in case you still need a boost, try the rest of the settings shown here. AirGPU is the rent a gaming PC by the hour option. You buy credit, spin up a Windows machine, then stream it through Parsec or Moonlight. You pay by the hour and prices vary depending on what machine you rent, but the average is around $1. Then you also need to pay for local storage, which is $3.50 per month per 50 gigabytes with a minimum of 100 gigs. Shadow PC is the subscription version of the same idea, where the lowest monthly subscription fee is $34 for US users, and it only goes up from there. EU users get a cheaper plan option that costs €20 per month, but that's still more than twice the monthly fee for Boosteroid's base plan. Sikarugir is the free DIY version of Crossover. It works great when it works, but it's more inconsistent, less intuitive, and has a lengthy setup. As for the setup, you first need to install Homebrew, then Sikarugir itself, then Steam, and then the actual game. The process takes significantly more time compared to the other methods here, and so is beyond the scope of this video. For detailed guidance on how to set up Sikarugir, just click the respective video in the description and it will show you exactly what to do. Here's how I'd think about the option. Boosteroid is the just play the game button. It's listed as working for Mewgenics through Steam, and because the heavy lifting happens remotely, you avoid the current launch roulette that local compatibility layers can run into. It also pairs well with turn-based combat, since small network delays are more annoying than deadly. The situation with Shadow PC and AirGPU is similar. Good, smooth performance as long as the internet connection holds. It's just that they are a bit of an overkill price-wise, so I generally struggle to recommend them for most games and use cases. Crossover is the I want it local pick. When it behaves, you get a perfectly playable experience, but the downside is inconsistency. Some setups boot, others fail at launch, and you may need a couple of tweaks to fix audio or window behavior. Sikarugir is the DIY lane. It can be viable in general, but for Mewgenics the chatter is basically same problems, less support, so it's hard to recommend unless you enjoy troubleshooting for fun. So my simple take is this: start with Boosteroid for reliability, try Crossover if you want local play and don't mind tweaking, and treat Sikarugir as an experiment. So these were the best methods for playing this game. If you want to explore more popular gaming titles you can play on your Mac, check the videos that should now appear on your screen, or simply browse through our channel. Also, if you found this content helpful, we'd greatly appreciate it if you liked the video and subscribe to our channel. Take care and see you in the next one.